Back to you, Neil.
Beyond.com for 800.
It's the perfect 2 letters for video-heavy sites such as Geek Brief. Jessica.
What is TV?
Yes, .tv.
I know! This is Brief 685. I started the morning by looking up the phrase reality distortion field to see if it could be used in any way to apply to news about Apple's new tablet, and it's just not the right term. Something related to gravitation or maybe paramagnetism would be more appropriate. The Apple tablet story has the effect of overwhelming every other story in technology. Today, in practical terms, the news is about Google. Google made real news by officially unveiling the Nexus 1. Apple hasn't made any tablet news at all, but the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Apple will announce a 10 to 11-inch tablet at the end of January, and that tablet will ship in March, priced at around $1,000. That story, true or imagined, is so strong that it pulls attention away from everything else. The excitement builds, and all we can do is attempt to be interested in everything else happening in the tech world. Every Google-powered phone we've seen so far has been like a lab experiment leading up to the one Google really believes in. They were willing to share the credit along with the blame for the phones that weren't ready to take on the iPhone as a viable other choice. The Nexus 1 is a refinement of the HTC design that started with the Hero, showed up again as the Droid Ares, and has grown up to be the phone Google announced today. It's 11.5 millimeters thick, 59.8 millimeters wide, and 119 millimeters tall. It has 4 touch buttons at the bottom of the screen and a BlackBerry Pearl-like trackball at the mouthpiece. It has a 5-megapixel camera. Inside, the phone is powered by a 1 GHz Snapdragon CPU. It has 512 megabytes of RAM and 512 megabytes of ROM. Like the Droid, the Nexus 1 really starts to shine when you look at its display. It's a 480 by 800 capacitive AMOLED touchscreen, which I think I'm gonna begin pronouncing as AMOLED. Engadget got to play with one though, and they say the display isn't quite as good as the Droid's. On the other hand, Engadget says the camera is a bit better. The most exciting thing to me about the Nexus 1 is the degree to which voice has been integrated into this phone at least, and I hope Android as a whole. Just about anything you can do by typing, you can do with voice. You can speak commands, speak emails, speak tweets, anything you want. The price will be $529 unlocked or $179 with a T-Mobile contract. I'm putting this down as the most awesome thing I've seen so far in 2010. Light Blue Optics just blew that red laser keyboard out of the water with its new Light Touch. It's the same principle, but rather than projecting a red outlined keyboard onto a table, it uses holographic laser projection to lay a full-color 10-inch touchscreen down before your eyes. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, along with 2 gigs of storage and a micro SD slot. Battery power will give you 2 hours of Geek show-off time. It also runs Adobe Flash Lite 3.1, so if you get one, use it to show your friends geekbrief.tv. My absolute favorite thing about the Nokia N900 is its potential for controlling things via IR. Home automation companies like Savant know how to create a great universal remote, but in my opinion, no one has made a truly great universal remote for average consumers. The kind of remote that needs to be made would be small enough to carry around the house in a pocket. Everyone who lives in the house could have their own, and each remote would control every controllable thing in the house. L5 Technology has an app and a piece of hardware that plugs into an iPhone or iPod Touch that may get me close to what I'm wanting. The app allows users to drag and drop buttons to create the remote that makes sense to them. You can have up to 100,000 buttons and replace up to 1,000 remote controls. Create a button with the app, match it to an IR signal from the existing remote, and bam! It could be exactly what I've been looking for. The cool thing is the app is free. You can download it and design your universal remote, see if you like the idea, and then if you do, buy the little IR transmitter and you're good to go. Details are at l5technology.com. That's it for now. I'll be back more frequently throughout CES than I am in a typical week. For up-to-the-minute coverage, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Callie Lewis, and join us at CallieLive.tv as we discover what's happening this year at CES. Brief 685 was brought to you by angieslist.com/geek. My promo code GEEK will save you 25% when you join the list. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Callie Lewis. Bye! Again, you guys, what you guys are seeing, the feed that you guys are getting is not what's going to be on the actual show.